2.5 months to the NFL draft, and right now Cam Ward is the favorite to go #1. Will the Titans be taking him? There's a report that Tennessee is open to trading that #1 overall pick. It's been traded 13 times in the common draft era over the last 55 plus years or so. Ward -110 to go #1 overall. Abdul Carter, the second favorite, the defensive lineman out of Penn State, at 2-1. Travis Hunter 4-1, and Shedeur Sanders has been sliding a little bit. In Mike Renner's mock draft, Sanders fell out of the top 5. He is 5-1 to go #1 overall.
Well, you know, the Saints get the #9 pick overall, and that man right there, Kellen Moore, is going to be pretty busy with this new job. But back in the day, Chris, he was busy putting a beat down on his current quarterback, Derek Carr. This is taking you all the way back to 2011 when Kellen Moore was the quarterback at Boise State. And boy, when he met Derek Carr in Fresno State, he let him know who was boss. I think he threw for over 250 yards in this game. The final score, by the way, was 57-7 in favor of Kellen Moore. So when you look at the numbers here, I don't know how happy Kellen would be if this was the quarterback situation he was getting in New Orleans, but this is his quarterback, and so obviously maybe some trash talking coming in the near future. But as we know, Kellen Moore, the final coach to complete our coaching carousel cycle for this season. It all started with Mike Vrabel, if you can believe it. That feels like it was eons ago as he takes over for Gerard Mayo and the Patriots. We also have Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, the guys from the Lions who got their head coaching jobs, and all of these gentlemen are going to have a big task come April. They got to pick their first draft picks, and so of course we had to bring our draft expert Ryan Wilson to discuss. We're going to go through each of these teams and see which of these head coaches where their eye is going in terms of their first pick. So we're actually going to start with Vrabel, Ryan, and we've got him picking. The Patriots have the #4 pick overall. It's not Vrabel's first pick as a head coach because we know he did that with the Titans, but how is he going to start the era out in New England? What's he going to take with that 4th pick?
Hey, Haley, good to see you. I think the theme for all these new coaches is don't overcomplicate it. Get the best player to help your team get better immediately. And if you're Mike Vrabel and New England Patriots, the last few years they've drafted offensive linemen. For some reason, they have not been offensive tackles. This year, it will be an offensive tackle. Even if Travis Hunter's sitting there, even if Abdul Carter's sitting there, you're going to take Will Campbell at LSU, plug-and-play left tackle who had played at a high level at LSU, played at a high level coming out of high school. No surprise there. The most consistent offensive lineman in this draft class. And we talked to Walter Nolan, the interior defensive lineman from Ole Miss, who's going to be a first-round pick at the Senior Bowl, and he said going back to high school, Will Campbell gave him more trouble than anyone else, and that shows up week in and week out when you watch him play. So Mike Vrabel, who's been known to do the right thing and get the most out of his players, I think he takes Will Campbell here and makes Drake May very happy. Yeah, they need an offensive line, among other things, but that O-line certainly needs some work. Will Campbell was the guy, and I love this. He was the guy that had that viral quote where he said, a D lineman can get 1 sack a game and he'll be a top 5 pick. You give up 1 sack a game for 12 games and you're going to work at Amazon as an offensive lineman. So clearly there's a value there for him going in the first round. If we pivot to the Jaguars, who of course have the 5th pick in this year's draft, they also have a new coach in Liam Cohen. I am praying, Ryan, that this pick that he is going to use is going to be better than that Duval call he gave us a couple weeks ago. I think that's still giving Jacqueline D'Agostino nightmares, but what does he do with that pick? As an old person, I didn't see that call, but I look forward to checking it out on what the Facebooks these days. I'll check it out afterwards. I'm looking forward to that. All right, here's how you bounce back Liam Cohen. You take Travis Hunter. You need help in wide receiver. You need help in the secondary. You get 2 for 1 with a Heisman Trophy winner. He is the best player in this draft class. He's my #1 on my big board. He's just going to fall a little bit probably because of needs elsewhere, starting at quarterback and the offensive line and perhaps edge rusher. But Travis Hunter is special, and I think he helps out Trevor Lawrence a lot. He helps out that defense a lot. And just the only thing you got to figure out is where do you play him and how often, and just don't run him out of gas too soon over the course of what will be a long season for him. So Travis Hunter, slam dunk. And that makes up for whatever that. What did the Duval call sound like, Haley, just so I know?
I feel like I can't even do it. It was that bad. It was like Duval or something crazy. It was terrible.
Oh, no.
I'm sure they are working with him. He did the next day, I think, did a better job. I think he hit the cadence a little bit better, but I'll send it to you. It was not great to start there. Let's go to the Raiders, who have the #6 pick in this year's draft. We know Pete Carroll is coming out of the classroom to get back in the headset to coach a little bit for the Raiders. They have a lot of needs, specifically quarterback is where I'm leaning here, and you also have him taking a quarterback with that pick.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's like your 70-year-old grandpa who's retired and takes some classes at community college. It's like, you know what? I'm going to get a new job, and that new job is being the head coach of the Raiders. He's going to bring some excitement to that organization. Tom Brady's obviously there, and then that obviously leads to the biggest, most clear connection in Shedeur Sanders. They need a quarterback. Aiden O'Connell's been the stopgap, and that was the intention when you drafted him on day 3 a few years ago. And Shedeur Sanders has that relationship with Tom Brady. He's had 2 really good years at Colorado, and I think that will probably start to get lost in the mix as we dig more into Shedeur Sanders and his family and the hype surrounding Shedeur Sanders and less about the football. But hopefully we'll get back to that over these next 72 days because he has a chance to be a good player. You just got to surround him with the talent to help him out. And I think Pete Carroll's done a great job of that historically, and I think he has an opportunity to do that in Las Vegas where they definitely need a quarterback.
Yeah, definitely need a quarterback. Shedeur's going to have to give those Giants cleats back that he wore in his bowl game. He can't wear those anymore if he's going to be in Las Vegas. So we'll have to see if he gets custom cleats there. Let's talk about Aaron Glenn and the challenge he has with the New York Jets. The quarterback situation Chris and I were talking about earlier, we don't know where they're going with that. But we do know, according to your latest mock here, they have the number 7 pick, and you're leaning defensive lineman for the Jets here.
Yeah, Mason Graham is another layup in the Travis Hunter sense or the Abdul Carter sense. And they have edge rushers coming back from injury in Jermaine Johnson. Will McDonald IV has played well in year 2 last year, so they have dudes there. The secondary, I think, is going to bounce back after a tough year last year, especially with AG now the the new head coach with that defensive background. But Mason Graham is a dude, and he's going to line up next to Quinnen Williams, and he's a lot like Quinnen Williams in the way he plays. And what's better than one Quinnen Williams? 2 Quinnen Williams, and I think he's going to help that defense get after it. Now, you noted it, Haley. The quarterback situation is looming large, and they have to figure that out. But that doesn't mean you don't pass on a really good football player with a top 10 pick. And Mason Graham is that guy. And I think he's the guy you draft, and you feel good about it going to sleep Thursday night of the draft, knowing that you hit a home run with that pick. Yeah.
Did you see that smile? It's hard to not feel good. I like when football players look like they have personality and energy. I love a good smile and a headshot. All right. Kellen Moore is probably smiling right now, fresh off that Super Bowl win. I don't know if he'll be smiling, Ryan, when he gets into the office and realizes how much work is ahead of him there as he takes over as the Saints head coach. The Saints pick number 9. I actually like this pick going offensive here. You like Teteroa McMillan there for Kellen Moore.
Yeah, and they have needs on defense, no doubt about it. But Ted McMillan is an absolute game changer, and they have some depth concerns along the wide receiver position. Chris Olave, when he's healthy, is a game changer, but he's struggled to stay healthy. And Ted McMillan, as a scout explained to me over the summer, is a more athletic Drake London, and that feels like something Derek Carr. By the way, what did Derek Carr do to producer Noah to put up that graphic before we came into this segment? Because he absolutely crushed him with those Fresno State stats. But even Derek Carr can throw a completion to Ted McMillan. That's how good Ted McMillan has been over the course of his career, and he gives him one more weapon at the wide receiver position in New Orleans.
Yeah, that actually surprised me. It's cool, though, to go back and think about these guys when they were players first. It just helps you kind of understand them better. But I feel bad for Derek Carr this morning, catching Noah's strays. All right, let's go to the Bears, who picked number 10 with Ben Johnson at the helm. I'm thinking offensive lineman here for obvious reason. Caleb Williams spent so much of the first year of his football career literally running for his life. He kind of looked like Patrick Mahomes did on Sunday in the Super Bowl game, but I digress here. You were going offensive lineman with Ben Johnson's first pick as head coach of the Bears, Ryan.
Yeah, you nailed it, Haley. 2 years ago, they took Darnell Wright, the right tackle, and he's been a day 1 starter. Last year, they took Roma Dunze instead of an offensive lineman, and I get it. This year, they're taking Kelvin Banks, the left tackle, out of Texas. Another day 1 starter, another athletic offensive lineman, another piece in the puzzle to help keep, as you point out, Caleb Williams upright in 2025.
Yeah, I'm sure Caleb is still feeling a lot of those sacks this year, but a new year, new outlook, maybe pushing things forward. Our last one here, of course, is my Dallas Cowboys, who picked number 12. You have them taking a running back, though, Ryan, something they haven't done since they did it with Ezekiel Elliott back in, 2016 here. And the magic player is Ashton Jeanty in Dallas.
Let's bring some excitement back to Frisco. I was in Frisco a few weeks ago for the Shrine Bowl. Ton of Cowboys fans, not much to be excited about. So Mike McCarthy's gone. They weren't excited about Brian Schottenheimer. Ashton Jeanty provides immediate excitement. So I'll let you grade this pick. What do you like how do you like the idea of Ashton Jeanty mixing it up in the running back position for the Cowboys, Haley?
I'm a big fan. I don't think that he will make it this far, unfortunately. I'm doing this new thing where I don't get excited for my sports teams to do happy things because they never do. So if they do take him at 12, I'll let you know how I'm feeling. Ryan Wilson joining us here to break down the latest in draft talks. These new head coaches have plenty of work to do ahead of their first NFL draft coming up in April. Ryan Wilson always has a lot of work to do as well. You can find his work on With the First Pick podcast. You can scan that QR code on your screen or listen in wherever you get your audio.